Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you my favorite full body split, and we are down here at FX Fitness Gym in Rawai, Phuket. And this is probably the most budget friendly gym in Phuket, where you get the most value for your money, but also air conditioning, which is good if you're training really hard and you don't want to lose all your electrolytes from sweating excessively. Okay, so let's go inside and get started. Okay, but before we get started with the training video, let me introduce myself a bit and give you a short overview of my experience with fitness and nutrition. So I've been training for over 20 years, both in the gym and as a mixed action sports athlete, and also been studying nutrition. I also have a background in studying nanoscience, so I like to get into a more scientific view of things. And I think it should be a good inspiration for people also to know that I'm able to maintain this physique without even taking any supplements like protein powder or creatine. So it's possible with a good diet and a good training program to get decent results. With that out of the way, let's get started with the training. Okay, so the first thing I do when I get into the gym is to do a warm-up of 2 minutes on the elliptical. And the way I do it is I start gently and focusing on driving the sticks with the hands, so I use my arms, chest and shoulders to drive the motion more than focusing on the legs, because the legs will do the work no matter what, but focusing on pushing and pulling those sticks with your arms all the time, that will make sure that you warm up your joints and you drive fluids and blood into the joints and muscles that you're going to train very soon. And then at the end of the 2 minutes warm up, I will push harder and go pretty hard so I get out of breath. And if you're in a cold country, you might have to do the warm-up 5 to 10 minutes to get properly warmed up. But we're in Thailand now, so 2 minutes will just do the job, because I'm basically already sweating when I walk into the gym. Okay, so let's get started with the real training. And as you can see, the first exercise is a dumbbell deadlift. Okay, and of course my first set will be very light. So I do 15 kilos in each hand, which is about 40 pounds or something. And then in my warm-up sets, I'll work towards 15 to 30 reps depending on the exercise. But in this exercise, I'm going for about 30 reps, okay? And then after the warm-up in my proper working sets, I will work my way up in weight, so I get down to around 10 reps. And regarding the overall structure of my program, first I'm starting with core and in this case hamstrings. And then after that, I'll work on my upper body. And then I'll end the training with leg training. And the way I structure the exercises is I put several exercises into a circuit. So I'm actually doing 2 or 3 exercises at the same time. So in this case, with the core training, as you can see, I'm going to train my abs with the TRX, which is the best ab exercise you can do if you ask me. And the reason I think it's so good is I've never found another exercise that can make me that sore in my abs the next day. Actually, at the time of the recording of this video is 3 days after I did the exercise, and I'm still sore in my abs, which is very nice. Then you just know that you have done a really good job in the gym. Okay, so we are doing circuit training here, and one of the benefits of putting several exercises into a circuit, so you like switch between the exercises, is that you are more time efficient, you get more work done in a shorter amount of time, but also you are actually training your cardiovascular system. It means that you're getting in better shape basically with your cardiovascular system. However, I'm not training as in CrossFit where they go really hard and never take breaks. So between the sets, I allow myself to catch my breath and get my heart rate down a bit before I do the next set. So I don't max out my heart rate like in CrossFit, because then there's a sacrifice and you don't develop the same level of strength and muscle hypertrophy, because you're completely out of breath and you're actually not able to lift the amount of weight that you normally would. And also being that fatigued as they get in CrossFit, you actually start to get sloppy technique. And if you're doing technical lifts such as deadlift, or Olympic lifts as they also do in CrossFit, you end up actually risking injury when you're trying to do a very technically demanding lift with sloppy technique at the same time. So I strongly recommend you to catch your breath between the sets. And then wait starting your next set until you feel ready to lift heavy and perform well. Okay, so now we're jumping back to do a set of dumbbell deadlifts. And actually this is my last set of that, because for the purpose of keeping the video short, I'll just show you the first set and the last set of each exercise, so you can see the difference between a warm-up set and the intensity of the last heavy working set. Okay, and I think I'm gonna do around 12 reps in this last set, and keeping very straight back and as good technique as possible. And you can see I just go down to the middle of the shins. I don't know if we can see an angle where we can see that. So I basically just slide my hands along the shins when I reach the knees. And then when I can feel my socks, then I move up again. So I don't go all the way down to touch the ground, okay? And I think most people are not flexible enough to do that anyway. This exercise requires really good hamstring mobility or flexibility. And I can actually touch my forehead on my knees, and I do that every day as a stretch in the evening, which I also did another video about, by the way, which helps keep my lower back pain-free and healthy. Okay, and now we are going to do the last set of TRX bodyweight crunches. And notice a few tips, okay? So you see that movement when I'm at the bottom, and then I go up and exhale at the top and then down again. And then from here, notice I'm sliding my shoulders back and then forward again. That's actually the hardest part of the exercise, and most people won't be able to do it. So that's one way you can make this exercise harder. And if you want to make it easier, just avoid doing it. Another way you can make it harder is by how far you walk forward with your hands. So I don't know if you can see it, but actually the angle of the TRX straps is not vertical, because I walk forward before I start the exercise with my hands. So the further you walk forward, the harder it's going to be to crunch, okay? And if it's too hard, you can just walk further back until the straps are vertical, and then it's gonna be pretty easy, okay? So there's a couple of things you can do here, and I always push myself to the limit on the last set until I can't do technique properly, and then I'm completely done. Okay, so now we're done with the core training, and then the next circuit is going to be biceps, triceps, and side deltoids, or just delts as most people call it. And as you can see, I'm starting with biceps dumbbell curls, and I start really light, because at my age, like 37, my joints are not what they, used to be. If I was 20 years old, I would love to just start heavy, which was probably still not the right thing to do. But the older you get, the more you need to prioritize your warm-up and warming up light. So I do around 5 kilos or 11 pounds, and then I go for around 30 reps until I get a good burn in the biceps. And it's not even close to my limit. I could probably still do 40 or 50, okay? So that's the definition of proper warm-up, is you do light and many reps, and you don't go close to your limit, okay? You stop way before failure, like at least 10 reps before failure. And then the next exercise is triceps, dumbbell extensions, or overhead extensions, I think it's called. And again, I usually do around 30 reps of this in my first set, okay? And I actually just stand up for my warm-up sets. And then for the heavy sets, I find a chair that's suitable for these triceps overhead extensions, okay? This is my favorite triceps exercise, by the way, which is why I show it in my favorite full body split with all my favorite exercises. And by the way, one of the main benefits of doing a full body split is that you don't get as sore in your muscles as you would if you're doing, for example, a 3 split or a push-pull leg split, where you're hitting your chest really hard one day and then you don't train it for about 3 to 7 days, because then you get really sore from all that volume, okay? And of course, the benefit of not being that sore is that you can do other sports better with better execution. So I'm an action sports and motocross athlete, so it's important that I can also ride with good technique, also for my safety. Anyways, back to the training, and as you can see, my third exercise in this circuit is side delts, or side lateral dumbbell raises, as I think it's correctly called. And I execute this one with a very special technique you may not have seen before, and I'm going to talk more about that technique later. But now it's time to my third and last set of biceps curls, where I'm lifting 15 kilos in each hand, which is about 35 pounds in each hand. And then I go for around 10 reps, okay? And the amount of working sets or heavy sets that I do in each of these exercises depend on how exhausted I am from my other sports training, such as motocross or mountain biking. So if I'm feeling really exhausted from my other sports trainings, I'm going to only do 1 or 2 working sets or heavy sets. And if I'm not feeling sore or exhausted from my other sports, then I will go for 3 or even 4 heavy working sets, okay? So it's a dynamic program. And now we're getting to the last reps, and as you can see, I'm really grinding it out. And in my last set, I like to always push myself very close to failure without actually hitting failure. So I'm always able to complete the last rep, okay? Because if you train to failure in every set, it's gonna be really hard to recover from your training and do well in other sports as well. Okay, so now it's time for my last set of triceps extensions, and here I'm going pretty heavy. This is basically half of my body weight here. 35 kilos or almost 80 pounds. And I'm going for 8 to 10 reps. And regarding elbow position in this exercise, make sure that it's comfortable and it doesn't give you any pain. So I have my elbows pointing slightly outwards, okay? And here we're going for the last rep. Oh, it's hard. You can see I'm really grinding it out. Okay. And I also got a bit sore next day from this, by the way, which was pretty nice. I like to get a bit sore the next day, so I know I've done a good training, but I don't want to be so sore that I can't perform well at other sports, as I mentioned before. Okay, and now it's time for the last set of delts. And let's talk about the technique here. So as you can see, I take a small pause at the top and the bottom. And as you can also see, I don't use full range of motion. And that's because I want to keep tension on the muscle all the time, so I can get a good pump and a good burn in delts, so I can actually feel what muscle I'm training. So I'm going for mind to muscle connection and building up a good burn, which has been scientifically shown to develop muscle growth, okay? And now I'm doing a drop set on the last 10 reps here. You can see I'm going to do normal reps, or beginner reps as I call them, okay? Where I use full range of motion and building a bit of momentum from the bottom. So this is a lot easier actually. And also I don't do the pause at the top and the bottom, which is really hard. You should try it if you never tried it before. But I like to do these easier reps at the end as a drop set. So after I can't do any more reps with proper techniques, then I'll do 10 or even 15 more with beginner technique, as I call it, or normal technique, if you will. Okay, and then I re-rack the dumbbells, being a good gym member. And now it's time for the big heavy compound exercises. And I actually decided that I have to split this video up in 2 parts, because otherwise it's gonna be too long. So if you want to see the second half of my favorite full body split video, then you should check out the link in the description for my other new YouTube channel called Better Habits with Toby. And there I will post the second half, which is, I think, the most important half actually. Starting here with shoulder press warm up, okay? And if you like these videos, make sure you also subscribe to my other channel that is more about building good habits and lifestyle design and entrepreneur lifestyle. So let's end it with that. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next one. If you want to learn more tools and techniques and habits that can improve your life quality and performance and well-being overall, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you like tropical island holidays, Visit fitcamp5.com for my 2-time TripAdvisor award-winning training camp, where we train fitness and action sports together while learning to live a healthy lifestyle and, maybe most importantly, have fun at the same time. And if you're really serious about improving yourself, you should definitely check out my full online courses, where I share step-by-step programs on how I developed my own routines over the last 12 years as a CEO working in 4 different countries, while being a successful competitive athlete with more than 20 years of experience in fitness and nutrition. Check the link in the description for that. And in any case, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, be awesome, believe in yourself, and see you on the next one.